Gulfstream Park.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave with shafafa on the side.
You would have to say. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a glorious Friday at Gulfstream Park. We are live, as usual, on the track apron, probably about, 70 yards just north of the finish line. And
close enough to where most of my horses gave way.
You're going to be buried or scattered a little bit up there.
Yeah, maybe about a quarter pole.
That's usually where they
have been going,
spit the bit. We are broadcasting a little bit earlier today, and I'm still waiting for here we go, because it doesn't really feel like we're on the air until we get onto the Let's Eat South Florida group, because that is a monster. And Jeff Defo at the Forest, Mike Lubie Lubitz manning the control boards. We're going to be joined as usual a little bit later in the show with Joe Beja, the director of food and beverage here at Ten Palms and Gulfstream Park.
He does the whole place. That's amazing when you think about all the different outlets that you have for food here.
And we're going to be, as usual, having a little Friday contest. We're starting a little earlier than usual because of Lubie, because he is a good husband, because he wanted to take his beloved Shirls to the airport. I think that's a loving gesture. Where's she going this time, Lubie? I don't mean to make you.
No, very good. Yeah, it's good.
There goes the water. That's it.
Upset
It's all over.
Would you get yourself a drink so we can start out some decent
I'm not the one dropping things everywhere. Going hot.
She's going to Austin, Texas for South by. She's
South
working
by Southwest Festival. It's huge. That's
a great music scene there, by the way.
That's
great
and
music
barbecue.
scene.
It's an IT.
And brisket.
It's a tech festival / music festival, and she's working with a company, and they want her to go out there and do some stuff with TikTok.
Nice.
Directly.
Wow.
So she'll be there and I'll be here.
There's a place called Odell's or something like that. It's a classic. You always see it on YouTube whenever some of my favorite guys, including our own Albert Castillo, played there. Austin, Texas is quite a distinction. If you can get a chance to play in front of the audiences there, they're great.
It's a beautiful town, Austin, Texas.
I've never been there, though.
Known for barbecue. I have some good friends. I haven't been there in over 25 years. I used to go through.
What would have prompted you to go there in the first place?
Well, I was on some sports reporting trip, probably going to
it's UT.
Dallas or UT game or something like that.
What a luxurious job you had.
What I used to it all used to be luxurious, whether it was the food, the restaurant beat with the company credit card. That was always key, because I didn't even have to schnorr and schlep and all that stuff. And
whose name was on the credit card? Did it say Sun Sentinel? I mean,
Michael H. Mayo.
It's to you.
Sun Sentinel.
So
it's
wow.
Personalized corporate credit card
that
would
go
directly
what a scam.
to the and occasionally I'd have to fill out the expense report, reconcile things, and then have to deal with
I never achieved that level of stature in the business.
Here's what I found.
They gave you a company credit card. Plus, who would trust me with money?
Yeah, it's like, what's this $200 cash back dinner at
almost all of my expenses, honestly. I mean, I might have fudged a few expense reports in my time, including we were talking about my trips to Omaha, Nebraska, which, known for its steaks.
A lot of steaks.
But, I would say that I took the entire coaching staff out for dinner just to compensate for my losses at Exarban. And then on the same day, Sonny Hirsch would have declared that he took the entire coaching staff out for dinner. And once in a while, they compare notes and say, how is this possible? How many of you guys paid for this check?
Well, I think they would flag you sometimes when you put down $500 and then the thing was Belmont Steaks, spelled Steaks, and you say, yeah, those steakhouses in New York.
I'll tell you what, the ribeyes in
Omaha,
unparalleled. They're unbelievable.
Speaking of steaks, I had a lovely time last night at Tropical Acres. I hadn't been in there in a while.
Yeah,
I took Dick Steen there for the first time. And
why do you take Dick Steen to places that we enjoy when you know he's going to end up trashing the joint?
He's one of these guys that's, he comes from Delray, and they're all frou-frou up there now. Atlantic Avenue, they got country clubs and gated communities.
He wants to pay $20 for one oyster. That's the way it is. Uncooked. They open an oyster, they charge you, they whack it for $20.
Look, me and you have gone back and forth about this whole concept of ordering wrong, and he ordered one of the right dishes.
I would have to sort of agree with you.
He ordered wrong.
Yeah, only because I don't care where you are. If you're ordering the end cut, you're a schmeck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're allowed to do it.
Of
Just
a
know
prime
what you're
rib.
doing.
When all of the pictures on Let's Eat South Florida feature the prime rib from Tropical Acres,
Yeah,
it's that
and it
center
looks
cut, and it's
beautiful. I mean, like,
juicy
I'm
and
not even-
medium rare. and
Perfectly
it's got that little
red.
ribbon of fat and then
Beautiful.
that little crust on the edge. And Dick Steen, God bless him, he's a great eater. He's turned me on to some great food places up in and around the Delray Beach area, including the really unsuspecting place, that bistro at Kings Point of all places.
That's
Kings
funny.
Point.
That Kings Point is a senior community.
It's a senior center, yeah.
They
Oh, geez,
have
no.
they have Ellen Freed.
What
our
are you
friend.
doing there? You hate older people, except for your mother.
I
That's the
love-
only one you have any
I
respect
love
for.
older people. I just like to give you a little bit of a
That's-
ribbing.
yeah,
because
I
you get a
am
little
old, Michael.
sensitive.
I'm willing to concede you that.
Septuagenarian, one of my favorite
Oh,
SAT
my
You love that
words.
word.
That's followed by an octogenarian, and then my mother
It's
is
like
now
finding
a
out you're a baked
What is
potato.
Nana
nonagenarian.
Oh, okay,
Nona,
never heard that term.
well, like a nona,
Yeah,
Italian
like a
nona,
grandma,
but
yeah.
nana is the 9,
Okay.
and nonagenarians. If you're lucky, one day you will get there.
I think I'll get there.
I'm hoping not to roll a 7 until I reach my 90s.
I think I'll get there.
There is longevity in my family, in spite of my mother and father being relatively unhealthy eaters most of their life.
I'm taking book against myself making it to 90, even though my
Well, your anxiety
mother-
level is too high. You
Well,
you have to relax.
I
is
did
the key.
have a
Yeah.
couple of drinks this week, just
You seem better, yeah.
in honor of my late.
Oh,
It's hard
say-
saying this, my
great
late
Sean.
friend Sean, but
Yeah.
we had a really nice gathering on Wednesday night at Tropics Restaurant. That's that Guyanese Caribbean place on Pines Boulevard where we always used to hang out. We always used to celebrate poker wins. Our whole poker crew was there, along with some of his cousins came out, and along with his daughter and the mother of the daughter that Sean they never married. But it was nice to see all those worlds come together. And I had to, in his memory, he turned me on to this. The greatest rum in the world is from Guyana. It's
Okay.
called El Dorado.
Okay.
And I've been drinking the 15-year-old stuff.
Holy
at home.
Jim Jones, man. What's the stuff
And
called?
it's El Dorado. It's
Okay.
won a gold medal as the best rum in the world.
Wow.
Sean turned me onto it. It is so smooth, and I think it's like aged and distilled over charcoal, or it makes it very smooth, like dangerously smooth.
Oh, interesting.
Now in the stores, the bottom level one is 12 years old. That goes like in the $20 range. The
Okay.
15-year-old is smooth, and I like it, and it goes for about like $49 a
Okay.
bottle. Sham, who's the owner of Tropics, the other night, in his memory, he broke out. He has this special bottle of 21-year-old
Oh, wow.
Wow.
which goes for I think like over 100. It's like
Okay.
it's like
For
$120.
a bottle of rum.
And he gave me, and that's the kind of stuff you don't want to put it on the rocks. You don't
Yeah,
want to
you gotta
mix it
take it
with
straight,
Coke or
straight.
anything.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just put that straight sip, and it's just like pure heaven. And
Back in the day, I was more than likely to mix it with a little Coke.
Oh,
what
Jesus.
kind of Coke?
Yeah, it's not
Coke
Coca-Cola,
apart.
exactly.
Like rails on the table during the
Oh.
broadcast. It was
But
ugly.
that was a nice
Yeah.
thing. And so I broke my Lenten, abstinence from
Good for you.
alcohol.
I'm so proud of you.
I definitely was a little hungover yesterday because we did imbibe, but it felt good to get that. And
You were on your game this morning, though, and,
Yeah.
and you're very much on your game so far. to
Dick
start the
Steen
show.
was good last
Yeah,
night at
yeah.
Tropical Acres. He kept me on the straight and narrow. I wanted to order a martini because I got there in time for the half price happy hour. He said, "No, Mike, just go back to being alcohol free. You have your little
Yeah, do your thing.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna do that for a while." So last night I had just a Coca-Cola, and I had my typical filet mignon, the center cut 10-ounce.
Large.
Love that. Yeah, the large
big
one.
Yeah, okay.
And it goes for $39
potato?
now, which is I got it with cream spinach. I was
Oh,
trying to
okay.
go a little carb free. I got it
Cream
with the
spinach
nice
is probably
Cream
worse for
spinach.
you than a baked
It's
potato.
not.
Mr. Health.
It's
Yeah,
carb
yeah.
free.
No,
And-
but I
But
mean,
it's
it's
dairy
loaded
full.
with stuff. Yeah. Sodium. I mean, it's a sodium bloodbath. It
No,
really
no,
is,
the
yeah.
cream spinach there has
Carb-free.
more on the nutmeg, and it's not too salty. They
It's
actually
delicious, but it's not healthy.
Just in general, cream spinach is not a good
they
thing. for you.
dial back the salt there at Tropical Acres, and my fillet actually, I hit it with a little extra salt when it came, because again, the clientele there, it is on the elderly side, and they are
There you go
more
again,
likely
taking
to
a pot
have.
shot at old people, man.
No, but I love the atmosphere. They
Yeah.
got the piano player going, and Dick Steen, he orders the prime rib end cut,
You were screaming not to
and
do
I was
it.
like, "Don't do that. It's going to be like well done."
Yeah.
I know, but that's the way he always likes to order it. That's his, like he says, his barometer for gauging prime
There are
rib.
people that really request. Is there something else that you request the end cut on besides a prime rib? I mean, what else would it be?
If you like it well done, I mean, you don't have to ask for it. That's what
It's
they're
not
going to give you.
uncommon though for people to like that, but I can't see it. I mean, why would you want to cook
I'm
beyond
trying to think of end
its
cut.
reasonable flavor? I mean, I want it as rare as I can
Yes,
get it.
that's the
He
thing.
likes the crust. He thought it was a bone-in prime rib. And I looked this up this morning.
There
We were
probably
saying
is
there's
one,
no
yeah,
such thing.
yeah.
There is
Yeah.
standing rib roast for the holidays. Michelle used to make a
Okay,
bone-in standing rib roast
That's
where it
not a
has all
steak.
those bones sticking out, and there is an uncut piece of that with the bone.
In general, I find bone-in stuff is excellent and more flavorful than non-bone-in. But I've never ordered that.
But they don't offer a bone-in
yeah.
prime rib at Tropical
That's not a
Acres.
standard thing.
And this is what we've gone back and forth on: is that you go with a place's strengths, and at Tropical Acres, it's that center cut, nice and bloody and rare, and nice ribbon of fat.
Looks great.
And even the again, their crust, it's not as heavily seasoned as some other places. Again, because they do dial back on some of the salt.
That's
for the
okay. They
seasonings.
let you put your own
But
thing
you can
together.
taste
yeah.
the meat.
I love
it's
it.
easier to add seasoning than it is to subtract.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
But let's just say, he came out and it came out and he didn't send it back or anything.
Which he should have.
He just whined to you about the whole time.
Yeah, it's not
that
better.
you were paying a check.
But this is one of the reasons why Tropical Acres, I call it a polarizing place. It's not for everybody.
See, I don't think
I
so.
love it.
Yeah,
And they've been great to us, the Studio Alley family, of course, on board with the Gambling Gourmet back when we were on
Yeah,
the radio.
first guy to sign up was Jack Studiali. He's been like that his whole life, and so is his father, Sam. I mean, they've been supporting
And the
local stuff
place-
here forever, man. And
The
it's
place
great.
was
yeah.
hopping last night, as usual. It's a Thursday night. Big crowd at the bar for the happy hour. It was a big crowd in the dining room. And, I love the place. And the funny part was, you saw this, that I had some fans that
I love
Oh
that.
no! This
I think
groupie
that's
thing with
amazing.
you is getting out of control, and I'm sorry, Michelle, but the man has massive sex appeal at this point.
got the hair.
No wonder she put you back on the friend list.
I might be back on the friend list.
Yeah.
I figured out a way to get back in her good graces. Besides the Delaware Chicken Farm
Well, that's
bringing
a
some
must, yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
but Tom T is doing a crawfish
Oh,
boil
this is
this weekend
Saturday
near
yeah.
you at that Anchors Away bar.
Yeah, I want to
up
get
in
up there. I
Deerfield.
want to get up there.
And I think if I show up at Michelle's and so when I have to drop my daughter later in the day and show
you
up,
bring that lasagna by? Wow.
I'll bring maybe a little muffaletta, maybe 10 pounds of crawfish or 5 pounds of crawfish.
I'm not a big crawfish guy. Are you
I
a big
love
crawfish guy?
crawfish.
Yeah.
I love sucking out
Mustang's
them
real
heads.
good with a crawfish.
Oh, it's
dish.
all good.
Yeah.
But anyways, Tropical Acres, the group. So I'm in the middle of my meal with Dick Steen, and all of a sudden Jackson, who is it's Jack's adopted son.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Joe and is his son, and Jackson
These
is
people
another
couldn't be
son.
any nicer though either. I mean, they could not be you feel good about humanity when you run into these guys.
Oh yeah, no. And then
yeah.
Jackson comes to the table and says, "Mike, there's a couple of people who are your fans over there. Is it okay if they come over to the
Spring
table?"
breakers were
I
in,
said, "Sure,
Tropical
bring them
Acres?
over." And it ended up being this lovely mother and daughter. I think it was Patrice and
Be
Nancy.
careful of the mother-daughter team. So
Yeah.
not every single
Yeah.
again.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
So, and there's a food angle here. They're, obviously members of the group, Let's Eat, which has 100,000 members. Now, I love saying we're 100,000.
Oh, that's amazing. It
Yeah, it
really
just
is.
sounds
Mike.
different.
I mean, you
It's
know what? No matter
impressive.
what we think of you, no matter what arguments we get into, no matter how much we think you're a schmink, but like in Skyline Chili, 100,000 people on a site is an
Yeah.
enormous number. It's great.
I'm no Selena Gomez, who has, I think, 44 million followers.
And it's not like
on
you're showing your
looks.
naked butt in some bikini bathing
No,
suit here. Like
I'm
you're
doing it.
from Montreal on the beach in Hollywood. I mean, you're doing it with just skill and expertise.
Yeah, some of these food bloggers, they do it in bikinis with
Yes.
cheese pulls
Pasties
and,
and a G-string.
and champagne flowing, Cristal. No, I'm doing it like the old school, old fashioned way.
Very
I'm just
genuine,
trying
yeah.
to be a man of the people. And it was great because this mother and daughter, Patrice and Nancy, come up last night. They're members of the group, and they also own and operate the Dairy Queen.
Oh, yeah.
I call it the Dairy Queen because it's like it's a little freestanding building on 441 State Road 7, just by Pembroke Road. It's the same building as when it first opened in 1954. It's
Oh,
got
wow.
the old classic signs,
Yeah.
and I love driving by there. My daughter loves Dairy Queen. We're going to go stop by there and say hello to them.
And
yeah, you
let me
should.
point something out. You mentioned underrated the shakes from McDonald's, which I would never.
Yeah.
My car turns into reverse as soon as I would attempt to enter the driveway of McDonald's. But the Blizzard still remains one of the great shakes made anywhere.
I like a Blizzard.
Yeah.
I like the vanilla with
Very
the
good.
brownie. I
A lot
like
of
the
variety.
way
Yeah.
the standard thing is when you get done with the Blizzard and whipping it up, they have to
I would
turn
go
it
to the
upside
Queen.
down
and test
to
it for you.
show that it is thick as a brick.
I would go
and
to
a
the Queen
Blizzard.
over McDonald's every time for
Okay,
a shake.
yeah.
If I was
Oh,
going
yeah.
to break down and have one,
Well,
that's
now-
where I would go.
Now I want to go to that. There's a famous Dairy Queen on Wilton Drive, Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, that always has a line.
Yeah.
But this one is kind of out, a little bit further west. But I just love that classic feel. But anyway, Nancy and Patrice come up, and they said, "Oh, when you were coming in, we snapped a picture of you."
Yes, and it's now,
That's
like
him.
gone viral.
That's Mike
it was-
Mayo.
it
There
was-
he is.
They had to black
Oh my
out the
God!
faces
Look,
of
Mom!
some of the
It's
people.
Mike Mayo. Oh my God!
And they were like, "Is it okay if we post it to the group?" And I was like, "It's okay
If you
for you to
want
post
to."
it. I don't know if anybody's going to approve it. I'm not going to be the one to say
It
yay
wasn't
or
an
nay."
overwhelmingly flattering picture because it was like the back of your head, but
I
It
love
was
it.
like on the
but
side.
you knew right away it was Mayo.
You saw Dickstein's back. He was like the gray-haired
I
one
didn't
with
notice
the big
Dickstein
plaid. Oh,
until
yeah, I'll
you
show
saw-
it to you. And then
Until you said he was complaining about
I
the
had
end
my,
cut, yeah.
bushy full head of hair, and
No,
I
you're
was
distinct. You're
I
very
was
distinct.
talking to Jackson. They snapped this photo. I granted approval to send it in. Gretchen, God bless her, the nice admin, I guess got a kick out of it because the caption was perfect. It said Mike Mayo in his natural habitat.
Yes.
At Tropical
Tropical
Acres.
Acres.
And lo and behold,
Disproving the theory that it's only for old people because you hate old people. Yeah.
I am one of them. I have an ARP card. But no, and then I thought this would be a thing like nobody would see it or comment. The thing took off. It's like been seen by 25,000
And
people. There's
justifiably so.
500
Yeah.
likes and comments, and people are going back
Very
and forth.
justifiable.
Who's
I
Mike
love
Mayo?
Who's Mike Mayo?
What's Tropical
I
Acres?
Who's
am
Mike
only
Mayo?
known now after 50 years in the business here, 40 of which took place in South Florida. The widest variety of jobs you could ever have, whether it was radio, TV, local, national, international, and yet I'm only known now as the guy that's on the Mike Mayo show.
100%.
Aren't you on that Mayo show?
Yes,
All
I've
this
done that a few times.
led
I
to
know that
that.
voice. You're on the Mayo show.
Distinguished sports commentary,
I mean,
career
I don't know
sports
about
talker,
distinguished. Yeah,
first
yeah.
teamer. Joe Rose back in the day.
He's
I
done
mean,
fights on
Lubie,
HBO. He's done a bunch of
We
stuff.
were filling in for Artie Lang, man. I mean,
He
a
did national
top-notch
stuff for
comedic
Artie
act,
years, so,
on a national radio. And
And
yet
now,
my main acclaim now is that I'm on the Mayo show.
now look at,
100%.
but are we not having fun?
Oh, we have a great
Oh,
time.
it's great. I mean, yes, and we're serving a purpose
and
here.
are we not getting well fed? More important.
That's very
well,
true.
we're getting fat, all of us. There's no doubt. Lubie's managed to maintain his physique.
I'm literally eating
I'm
my
walking 4
eating
miles
habits.
either in the daytime and the nighttime, and I still can't hold on because I did something very Mayo-esque on the way down here,
Okay.
which was I could
Stop.
not resist. I thought, I mean, it was a little different. The sauce and the sort of consistency of this pizza that we had yesterday there from Esposito's. So I love the test of a pizza is A, how does it taste when it comes out? And B, how great does it taste after coming out of the air fryer toaster oven, even a couple of days later?
Nice.
So I heated a piece up and I was practicing for my dining while driving show. And I'm going to,
We gotta
start
expand here
next
on
week or
Lunch Eat
so,
South
yeah.
Florida.
We'll start
So
next
I
week
ate
or
this
so.
in a car.
This
And what
was
was
a
great about
leftover
it,
slice
A
from
leftover
Esposito's.
slice of vegetable pizza.
But you
which
ate
was-
it in the car?
It ate it in the car, and it would have passed the Portnoy test because it was just perfect in terms of its,
Not
Yeah, I
floppiness.
mean, it wasn't like shriveling up or anything, and then the taste was great. And the guy had a very distinct sauce there.
Yes.
I don't know how you feel about it because
I thought it was good. I liked a lot of
it's
his
easy to
sauces.
lump a lot of Italian restaurants into the same category as you call it. What is that? The red sauce.
Red
Red
sauce
sauce
Italian.
Italian joint, Italian American.
New York Italian.
Yeah.
It's New York Italian.
Okay, so there's got to be a commonality to all of this stuff in some ways, but I thought his sauce was very distinct.
And
on
he
the
had
pizza.
distinctive different
yeah,
sauces.
yeah,
Yes.
Joey, man,
For
good
the-
job.
That's
for
what
the-
was impressive.
For the calamari, he had that chorizo sauce,
That was
which was a
great.
little bit
Yeah, yeah.
spicier.
If you like
and
a
had a little
kick,
bit
add
of
a
burn.
nice kick.
Then that was a little bit brighter orange, and
Yes.
then he has his classic
That
marinara sauce.
marinara
to
was
dip.
delicious, I thought.
In the for the seafood cartoccio dish,
That was good.
that he also had you can tell it was like some of the essence of the sea, the clam juice, and
Yeah.
maybe some of the
There was a
lobster
lot of
shell
seafood in that,
casing.
too.
A
It
perfect
had
taste.
that little bit
Yeah.
brinier flavor, and then in the spaghetti that came with the veal chop, and the veal chop itself had a great, deep, lustrous red sauce that had those shavings of garlic, like you said, laced
Yeah, it
with
was like
garlic.
Really
garlic.
nice,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
really
nice
nice.
piece of
And
garlic.
Yeah.
that reminded me of an Italian joint up in New York, Il Molino, which is heavy on the garlic. His sauce is there, Joe, at Esposito's on University Drive, where we spent the day yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'll keep trying to tell people,
I'm gonna keep
give the
talking about
guy
it.
a second
Oh
chance.
my God, he doesn't even need a second
If
chance.
you've been going there for
Yeah.
years, keep going.
How do you not go back?
I think he was the victim of what I call journalistic malpractice,
Yes.
almost in
That was a
terms
good
of
Yes.
being
characterization.
slammed
Yeah.
on dirty dining for a first offense and in 18 years.
Yeah.
And, it's really impacted his business. He seemed a little glum yesterday. We're trying to, the day when I went to visit
I was
him.
disappointed in Weinseer, who I generally respect.
Yeah, I
all
respect
the people in
him.
the
I
local
actually like the
media here.
segment.
We've been, one thing about the Miami media, you've been a part of it forever. Lubie now realizes it's a kinder, gentler media.
Oh,
down
yeah,
there.
it's not New
Most
York.
of the people, even in crossover competitive roles, are very friendly with each other, and we play tennis together. We go out, we see each other. We're always happy. We have a lot of stories together. So I always consider it part of it like a brethren. It's a great place to work in the media. But Weinstein kind of alienated me a little bit with the stance that he took. I understand he's doing his job, but it's like you have to draw some lines somewhere in terms of integrity and what's fair.
We've been pounding on this.
Yeah,
but
we're doing this a lot. I know, Sarney.
All in favor of hard-hitting, watchdog, investigative journalism.
Yeah, if you really uncover something.
But it's the same thing as like comedy. Don't punch down. Punch up.
Yeah.
Like don't punch down on a guy. It's a single business. A family-run business.
Yep.
It's the only place now. And he's put his life and his heart and his soul into it, and he does a good job.
He
didn't contextualize it, Dirty Dining Wines
Oh,
here
no, horrible
by
job of
saying
that,
it's the first time he's ever had something like this happen.
Or show the front of the restaurant.
And just show how nice it is in there, and he's cleaned it up. It's just
It's very irritating. Having been there yesterday, whatever empathy I had for the cause,
It breaks my heart.
I almost feel like burning my draft card all over again. I'm on a campaign on this thing, man.
And the thing was, like, when I went in first time, without any cameras before we did the show with him and Jeff a couple of weeks ago, and I just went in there. I wanted to check the place out. I wanted to eat. And experience it
easily impressed
with my own eyes and ears to see if we want to come out for a show. It passed my test of food and taste and flavor and atmosphere with flying colors. And on that day, like Joe seemed like I was telling him, like, hey, sometimes in the cases like these, people will rally, people will come out, and it'll end up actually maybe as strange as it is to say, help the business in the long run. Maybe we'll be able to joke about it and start selling T-shirts that say, have you holding a pizza saying, "Look, Ma, no roaches."
No roaches.
And he laughed about that. But now
the pizza was terrific.
But
though.
But it's been like 2-3 months.
But now, it's been about 4 or 5 weeks. And
okay. Oh, it's
the
only been a
business
little
is still
month.
down.
Should be rebounding.
He says it's all 40%. He was hoping to do this expansion and build this front area, patio, beautiful. It has
A
all these
dedicated
designs.
restaurateur, the kind of guy you want in the business down here. That's the thing.
Well, we don't have a lot of those
is the
places
most
out west.
disturbing.
That's
the
thing.
food was good. The value was great to get a veal chop like that on the bone with this pile of spaghetti. It's
There you go,
dish
bone
that
in.
could feed 3 people,
Bone in.
and it's like $38, and you get the same kind of thing at some of these trendier, newer places for $65,
it's great.
$55. I mean, it just seemed like good value. And
Presentation was artful too. I mean, like you're not going to go to some dump that is like a filth pit. That is a health hazard and have a presentation like that. I mean, it's incongruous with the way the food was being served. It really is.
It's one thing if Weinzer goes after some serial offender that's been closed 4 times in the last 2 years.
Ponzi schemer somewhere that he could have investigated.
And that's the other thing in journalism. Watchdog, you're looking after crooked politicians or Ponzi schemers or people fleecing old ladies. But to do this to that kind of guy, it just kind of it rubbed me the wrong way. So we are making it.
You've done this, though, Michael. You understand this. I mean, and to your credit, you have some discretion. Like we did editorials called the Forest Files.
Yeah.
And every now and then you would have nothing to say, so you just had to make something up. Even though there was no
Some
controversy,
false
there was nothing
outrage.
that really. You had to come up with something. And, you've had to do it. I mean, as a writer on the city desk for so many years, and then, maybe even as a food critic. But you don't want to have it do harm. I mean, because you're obligated to come through with some content, which, there are great demands on that sometimes. But, to go out there and do that, I'm ashamed of Channel 10 for even airing that piece. So it became sensational because of Joe's reaction, which unfortunately exacerbated the problem, which... I mean, I thought was minor at best. I mean, minor.
Well, that's the thing. So Andy Mann, who's become a part of the show because he's coming out to a remote, so we include him, comes to my trivias on Thursdays at Landlubbers. And one of his dear friends, Rob, his daughter, I guess they were talking about Esposito's, and the daughter said the problem is, I guess she caught the freaking segment, and the way Joe reacted, which Joe's talked about, we've talked about,
he melted
that
down.
alone was it. People saw him and were like, why would I go there?
It's like this maniac must be
He's a lunatic. I can't go there.
He lost his mind. He came off looking really, badly. Any kind of PR crisis manager would say that's the exact thing.
The worst way to
not
handle it,
do. But he's human, and he's a New Yorker. And as New Yorkers, we understood the whole your mother has roaches thing.
An instinct.
He cursed them out. He one time went up, almost bumped the
You're talking about my
cameraman.
mother? And it's like,
Yeah.
you
Of
know,
course.
and that's what Weinstein did. It's a natural
Yes,
reaction.
it's literally
to-
what
It was a
Weinstein did.
defense
Blurting out your
mechanism to
mother.
being attacked, basically, or
Yeah, it was a
ambushed.
shame, man.
Ambushed is
Yeah.
the word.
And what unfortunately we saw was that that place unfortunately had no people there.
Yeah, it
With
took
this great
effect.
He
food. I
said
mean, he's got a chef
yesterday-
there. He's got people waiting.
He only did $400 worth of lunch business yesterday, which is off like triple usually.
You know what?
he used to
Having
do
been
at
a waiter,
lunch.
the one thing you want constant action.
Yes.
And there's nothing worse than being in a really good place and it's not getting the business that it
it's
deserves.
slow.
Look,
you
so
know?
this is
Yeah,
our
yeah.
crusade now. I like Defo the Crusader,
I'm all in.
especially when
I'm
his
all in,
heart's
man.
in the
Yeah,
right
yeah.
place. I like Defo. This week
And I'm
Defo
with
is
you on the Dixie thing.
rising
Yeah,
up
I'm
on
with you
the,
on
the food, the eating food chart or the depth
Yeah,
chart.
yeah.
It's good to have you back. And you know what? It is time for
Yes.
our
Clue
I
number
gotta
one.
say this
10
though,
pounds
Tanazzini
contest.
is calling my name with this,
Oh, yeah, I'm
southern
going
drift that
Saturday
he's
with
made,
Ken,
Oh
too.
yeah,
and it's going to be like Federal and Hillsborough,
Yes.
which
Anchors away, right? Anchors
yeah,
away.
yeah.
And
So Anchors Away bar, but it's away like
Tomorrow,
away
12 to 5.
WEIGH.
Yeah.
No, he said he's going to be there till 8
oh, will he? Okay.
because I have stuff in the afternoon, but I didn't want to miss it.
He's going to
He's gonna
have
be
the
there till 8
crepe
o'clock, he said.
lasagna. He's going to have the
He's doing
jambalaya.
Nice.
Cajun
I think he's
cuisine,
going to
he
have the
said.
gumbo
We
Yep.
love Tom T.
and boil the crawfish.
And I
boil.
can't see who's out there today because of the lighting and the sunrise.
I'm
we
sure
can't,
Joanne
we
is on
can't
board.
see the comment string.
Yeah.
But for
We
everybody
can't see
who's
anything,
tuned in
actually.
today,
We're making
thanks for tuning in. We usually like to interact with the chat board, but today, because I'm blind as a bat when the sun's in my eyes, but it is gorgeous. There's no
Well, this is a
humidity
really
today.
nice
it's
day.
all beautiful.
This is what it's all about. And they've moved again. We're getting ready to move the clocks this weekend,
Yep.
so we're going to have later sunsets. It
Yeah.
also means later post time.
Which way? This way?
That I
Or
don't
that
know.
way?
It goes this way.
This
but
way or that
we're
way?
spring forward. We lose an hour of sleep this week.
I don't
but
mind losing it on a
we
Sunday.
gain later racing
Hours,
times,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is good because now the first race here at Gulfstream Park, 12:40 p.m. today, and I think eventually they might move it to 12:50.
You don't have to pay the late fee at the park after 6.
So I like a couple of bombers in this first race here.
Oh,
at
good,
Gulfstream.
good. You better get
So
down.
we're going to be waiting for that. But now
I
it's
want to
time.
get to the contest.
We're
yeah.
going to get to the break and the contest. Okay, contest.
Great
time.
contest.
All right, here's
Great
the thing,
contest.
Defo. I thought it was going to be a restaurant that would please you. It had like a closed down Chinese restaurant, but then I saw, and that's going to be in the hopper. We're going to hold that for later on
Back
Okay.
off on
because
that.
what I saw
Yeah.
is this week's feature race. Well, there's 2 stakes races tomorrow.
Right. Okay.
One has a heavy long shot and a 6-horse field, so we're not going to do that one. We're doing the Captiva Island Stakes.
Oh,
Okay.
Captiva Island. I'm not really a Captiva Island guy.
Captiva
so I
Island
might not notice.
Stakes, 11th race on a 12 race card.
But here
Tomorrow's
it's-
card,
okay, here.
Saturday, Gulfstream Park, 11th race,
11th
March
race.
11th, 5:35-ish post time for this feature race. The Captiva Island Stakes is a field of 10
Okay.
older fillies and mares going a sprinty 5 furlongs on
Nice.
the turf.
How many
Nice.
people had the right horse last week? man? Like 30?
So technically it was, so there was 16 names in the
amazing.
hat.
Yeah.
14 of them picked Forte, 2 of them picked Shug's horse, General Jim, that's scratched.
Scratch, yeah.
So
They
they
got
backed
then
into it
got-
because the rules of our Mike Mayo
very
Gulfstream
clear.
Park 10 Palms contest is if you pick a horse that ends up scratching before the race starts, you get automatically the post time.
And if you want to print a copy of the rules, you can go to Lubie.com.
No,
you
it's
go
in
to
Let's See
my-
South Florida. No,
No,
it's
it's
there.
on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox page on Facebook. If you just search Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, there's actually a page there. I
for
simulcast
the show.
the show, and you get the full rules.
Nice.
And this is the wonderful part thing,
Okay.
Defo. People get it. They
Oh,
understand.
yeah,
no,
the
yeah,
great
they're
nuance.
doing
job
really
by,
well.
by the fans. out
I'm going to
there.
give you a
Great job.
series of questions that's going to lead to a name
Series
of
of
a
clues. Series
restaurant.
of clues. You're not
Series-
doing questions. It's
Okay.
not the trivia challenge.
Clues.
Series of clues.
Yes. You don't even have to phrase it in the form
Of a question.
Which
It's
might have
not
been some of
Jeopardy.
the sloppiest radio and TV in history. The trivia challenge this
Oh,
week,
yes,
where
yeah.
I'm the
Holy
questioner.
man. I had
Yeah.
to turn it off. I just couldn't.
It was like-
Sorry, Defo.
Yeah, it really
Actually,
just
I
has
thought
to,
it was
man. Yeah,
fun.
no.
So, anyways,
We
you're
do
gonna
miss
do clues.
Gurgles. I miss
Yeah.
Paulie, man.
Yeah, we'll
I
get
miss
him
so
back
many.
around
Polyman's
somewhere.
doing all right. He's making a
That's
comeback.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Long time trivia challenge. Been going what? 20 years? 25
Oh,
years?
you know, we did the
20-something
show on the
years.
radio for 25 years,
Awesome.
and it happened by total accident.
I used to see it at Dania Highlight. Did you do it at Dania Highlight? at one
We
time?
may have done it a lot of places. You know how it came about. I mean, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
And actually, there was a marketing director here at Gulfstream under an old regime, and was not as advanced in terms of marketing ideas as the people that are here now, putting a food show on here out at noon every Friday. Fantastic, right? And they got a whole new audience coming out here, and everybody loves it. This guy said he was going to go to petting zoos and concerts and was not going to advertise on the only radio show that talked about horse racing in town at the time. We had a horse racing radio show that we were getting sponsored by all the tracks, and it was great. So because of that, that's how the Trivia Challenge was born. We figured if we couldn't get advertising from the number one, track in terms of revenue generated at the time, the guy's name was David Rovine. He ended up doing,
I know Dave Rovine. Yeah, okay.
He ended up doing summer, stock in Minnesota somewhere, as a failed actor, like he was Sean freaking Connery or something. Anyway, nothing against him, but I thought it was a bozo move, and I said if we can't get this advertising, it would be like no restaurants advertising on the lunchbox or food entities.
Yeah,
and so. That's how we invented the Trivia Challenge. We said, trivia is popular. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And we had a guy that was ready to sponsor it. And
there you go.
25 years
on the radio. Invention. Yeah. That's still going strong on your morning shows. That's on the South Florida Live Networks. And now we have our Gulfstream 10 Palms Sunday Brunch Contest.
It's a great contest.
Going to give you a series of 3 clues. You'll come up with the restaurant name, and then you'll also handicap or pick or just throw darts and come up with a number or name of the winner of tomorrow's Captiva Island Stakes, the 11th race on tomorrow's Gulfstream card, March 11th. And it'll be just a number from 1 to 10 if you want to make it easy. Or a lot of you are sophisticates. You actually know how to look up the racing form, Equibase.
Little comments.
They give me the names of the horse and all that stuff. You put those 2 things together in an email, both components, restaurant name, horse, number between 1 and 10. Send it to MikeMayoEats@gmail.com by noon tomorrow. I am a tyrant with the deadlines. Do not send it in at 12.
Well, because it can get confusing and then people can pull a move.
I just have to do everything on
Saturday
mornings.
Unlike Jeff Weintz here.
So again, here we go. It is
clue number 1.
In honor of the Captiva Island Stakes, we're going to go to Captiva Island for this week's restaurant clues.
Okay.
And of course, Captiva was really hit hard by Hurricane Ian last September, which I will be talking about later in the clues. But it's always Christmas is the motto of this famed restaurant in Captiva that's known worldwide for its kitschy permanent holiday decorations and its selection of desserts, including the signature orange crunch cake.
See, I like I said, I have no familiarity with
Wow.
that Captiva
You have no
Island.
clue either? You've never been on that side? You've
sure,
never gone to Captiva?
I would imagine most people
I feel like
already
I've
got
seen
it,
that name on a restaurant before.
I think it's one of those Florida restaurants that is as well known as Burns Steakhouse in Tampa.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
It's something that I've always heard about, and I actually got to go there with my daughter one year, and we did have the orange.
Don't let my ignorance stand in the way of this being an outstanding choice.
Where is this? Tampa? Where's?
Yeah, Captiva is north
of Singer Island
north
and
of
Marco.
Fort Myers. As you go, there's Sanibel,
you're talking
and there's
West
Captiva
Coast
Island. It's on the Gulf Coast. It got racked by Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Sanibel and Captiva Islands are these little kind of barrier islands
I just don't know
on the Gulf Coast.
I would venture a guess, but I don't think it's Captiva. I think it's more Marco Island.
Okay, well, Marco is south of
yeah.
And Captiva and Sanibel are north of Fort Myers. Before you get to Sarasota, before you get to
all right, if you know
Tampa.
that, and then you can pick the winner.
It's always Christmas is the motto of this famed restaurant, known worldwide for its kitschy permanent holiday decorations and its selection of desserts, including the signature orange crunch cake. So that's clue number 1 for this week's contest. When you get the name of the restaurant, pick a number between 1 and 10 for tomorrow's Captiva Island Stakes, race 11. Send the both components to MikeMayoEats@gmail.com, and we'll do the rest from there. If you end up getting the winning horse and the correct restaurant name, you'll be eligible to win brunch for 2, including a mimosa, tax, and tip at the famous Ten Palms restaurant overlooking the track right above us. Got 2 contest winners going for their Sunday brunch
Everybody's
this week,
loved it. Everybody's
weekend, and we hope Kenneth Rosenblum and is Andrea
I'm keeping an
Burchett
eye out for Joe.
is going to be coming out for this weekend, this Sunday's brunch buffet, and it's fantastic. They have a full selection of the carvery, the eggs, omelets, along with the full desserts. It's a great time, and even if you don't win, you could just come on out there any day that Gulfstream is racing and get a seat. But the buffet is every Sunday, $50 plus tax and tips, so it's about $63 $63. Can throw an
Less
extra
than I'm
couple
going to
bucks.
blow in the Pick 5 and Aqueduct
Yeah,
on
but-
behalf of Big Rich and myself.
And our winners get brunch for two. We're going to be doing this contest all the way through the Kentucky Derby.
Beautiful,
And hopefully way beyond
Way
that.
beyond
So-
that. I mean,
so-
nothing like summertime on a Friday afternoon out
it's
here at
great.
Gulfstream. Yeah.
Hey, we're all mixed up with our times today. We started a little bit earlier, but let's do a double break. And we talked about Tropical Acres. I had a
Tropical
great
Acres,
time.
You,
I love
you're
the
their
place.
ringing endorsement. Mike.
2500 Griffin
Yeah.
Road, just west of 95 and the airport. It's famous. It's the place to go when you want value, quality, and service. The Studiali family, they will take great care of you. It is known for their Monday, Tuesday half-price wine night. They also have happy hour in the bar with the half-price drinks and the great light bites.
And
like
unless
the
you're
sirloin
Dick Steen, you're going
sliders.
to love it.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but it
I
certainly
think it is for
me.
everybody. I mean, Dick Steen might have blown it. Yeah, I mean,
you
he should go back.
some people look.
You won't convince him because he doesn't respect your opinion enough. That's why you're always verklempt on those Tuesday shows.
If you are able to, I think to follow the path of getting the good stuff there, the onion soup, the crab cakes, that stuffed mushroom.
I never had
to
anything
start.
that I thought was anything but excellent.
And of
yeah.
course, summertime's coming up soon,
Yeah.
which means they're going to have again the twin lobster specials, those steamed live Maine
Can't go
lobsters.
wrong.
Probably going to be sometime after Easter. He'll bring it back, and I love that deal too. So something to look forward to at Tropical Acres. Don't forget the butcher shop every day from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Every day but Sunday, they're open, the butcher shop and the dining room. But you can pick up those great cuts of filet mignon and the other steaks and grill them at home. Tropical Acres, tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
I want Dick Steen, to realize you want your prime rib screaming, spank me again. Come on, Dick Steen, get with it. All right, more on the Lunchbox from Gulfstream Park here in a moment.
When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
We're back on the Lunchbox. We're at Gulfstream Park. It is an absolutely gorgeous day. If you can play hooky, if you don't have to work today, if you work remotely, just turn the Zoom meeting onto the the little black screen and put yourself on mute and just dash out the door. Come out here because wow,
how terrific is it out here?
Spectacular.
And I love the buzz as the first race is approaching, which we haven't even got the horses coming out of the paddock yet, but there are people out there eyeballing the talent. And then there's nothing better than the anticipation of the first race any day that you're out here at the racetrack. And this could not be any more beautiful while the rest of the country is ensconced in global warming type horrendous weather conditions. Here we are, Mike Mayo, and just absolutely beautiful day at Gulfstream.
The same way that in spring training, all the teams hope springs eternal. The scoreboard, the standings read 0 and 0. Before the first race, we're at 0 for the day.
Man.
Like we have hope. We have some money in our pockets,
Haven't
or some
made
of
our
us
first
do.
horrendous mistake of the
And
day.
I've already put $40 into this first race here today. I like a couple of live long shots. I like a first timer, the number 8 horse. I don't see what the odds are now, but it was 7-1 with Tyler Gaffney.
I think you're going to get about
I
that.
like the 8 over some of these bombers. One of my angles, and we're getting into the weeds on the horse racing, but we do that here.
Hey, we're at the track.
One of my angles that I always love is that the also eligibles, like if there's a big field of more than 12, and there's a couple of scratches in the regular field and some of those AEs, as we call them, the also
it's kind of
eligibles.
like your backup Chinese restaurant. Your place is closed on a Tuesday. You didn't know that.
You go to the backup.
Yeah.
When the AEs get into the race, and in this case, there's 2 of them, a 13 and a 15, and they're both huge prices. I always bet 5 to win on place. I always bet $10, 5 to win in place on each AE that gets in. And so in this case, I got $20. I got 5 to win in place on the 13. I got 5 to win in place on the 15. And I did a bunch of combos, exactas with the 8 over the 13, 15, and some of the favorites. Nobody cares about that. You know what they care about?
They want to clarify. I mean, maybe the second clue might give me some idea.
Let's get to clue number 2.
Because the name, I'm assuming, is very famous. Yeah.
And again, we're going to be we're going to Captiva
I'm
Island.
blank on Captiva Island.
Captiva Island Steaks.
Okay.
And it is, again, when you give me a number from 1 and 10 and give me the name of this restaurant, send it to MikeMayoEats@gmail.com, and you could win the Sunday brunch package for 2 at 10 Palms here at Gulfstream.
Joe Beja goes to great extremes to accommodate our people.
I can't even imagine what he's doing for everyone.
as good as it is for anybody that comes in there, it's especially, great.
That's a great care of you.
Clue number 1 was it's always Christmas at this famed restaurant. That's their motto. It's known worldwide for its kitschy permanent holiday displays and decorations, and its selections of desserts, including the signature orange cake, or also known as the orange crunch cake.
That sounds good.
Clue number 2 is the restaurant opened in 1979, and it's currently closed for repairs from Hurricane Ian.
All right.
But it opened in 1979, and as far as we know, neither Lawrence Welk nor Don Ho had anything to do with the restaurant's name or ownership.
All right.
That's kind of a clue. I don't know if it gives you a little
bit. So it's probably over my head.
But this may be the place that I thought was on Marco Island.
But
maybe I guess it's Captiva.
Captiva Island. Don't say the name.
No, I won't. I have it now, though. I do have it.
Opened in 1979. Currently closed for repairs from Hurricane Ian. And as far as we know, neither Lawrence Welk nor Don Ho had anything to do with the restaurant.
It's a good one, yeah.
So
no, I suspected this was the place after the first clue, and now it's a gimme.
Okay, so it's becoming a little clearer to you.
Oh no, it's
even with several white wines.
And I have eaten there.
And other,
I will say that I was sort of underwhelmed by the place.
Okay.
Yeah,
underwhelmed is one of those good "Let's Eat South Florida" group words.
It's not
it wasn't like I would complain that I went
away.
there, but it didn't blow me away.
It's one of those places that you're not rushing back to.
I would think that it was billed as kind of a family place too, And I remember my son was very young, and I also had stepkids, and we went there, and they enjoyed it immensely. I thought it was all right.
I remember going with my daughter, and we liked, and it was.
But we went way out of our way to go there.
It was fun to see all the kitschy decorations. Yeah. We got the orange cake, which was like, a little too sweet, but we also had like a red velvet cake that was pretty good.
The food was okay. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't terrible or
anything.
That's
the problem with those places, though. Like they build it up so much that it's almost impossible. Like that's what a Joe's why it's impressive.
Everybody said you had to go there.
Because you go there and it is what it is.
It's one of those things. It's become a tourist site. Whether you call it a tourist trap or not depends on.
A good choice, though, Mike Mayo.
But like this is, I like to fit the theme of the race.
What's going on?
The theme of the restaurant.
A beautiful
the
thing.
Captiva Island States. Let's talk about a little bit that race. It's a 10-horse field.
Yeah, we're here. Let's go.
It's a wide open race. It's going to be the 11th race on a 12-race card. That's not until 12:40.
We're not there yet. We got about 5 minutes.
So tomorrow's race, it's going to be a field of 10 older fillies.
10-1.
You got Luca, your guy.
Oh yeah.
Poseidon's Passion. Luca Panici is on the number 10 horse. 12-1.
Well,
and it looks like I like the number. Looks like the number 8 horse Spun Glass. Michael Trombetta with Louis Reyes on board at 10-1 is kind of one. Looks like the morning line favorite is going to be Trained to Artemis. Kelly Breen. There's a horse from Mark Cassie with JJ Castellano on it. Imagery. And then there's a 4-1 shot. Charlie T. Do you know any Charlies that you like there?
You know what? One of the funniest videos I've ever seen about sports analysis was they were following Andy Beyer around in the 70s on a PBS special.
Huh.
And you know how Beyer used to enunciate everything in a kind of a very sort of
famous horse
way.
race handicapper that went to Harvard.
Harvard, dropped out to go back to Barrington Fair horse race.
Same with Stephen Christ,
Washington Post. Dynamite, first guy to really crack the code on the pick sixes and everything. Great guy and a tremendous interview when I was doing a lot of horse racing shows. And on this PBS special, which is classic, he says, "There's a horse in the first race at Aqueduct that I absolutely hate called Chopper Charlie." And it was just a way, I mean, like you could see the phlegm coming out of his mouth as he emphasized Chopper Charlie. And so I always,
you like that horses. Charlie horse. Sometimes.
Yeah. The Charlie
hey, you know who's got a horse in tomorrow? And the number 2 horse, Little Jewel, is trained by Carlo Vaccarezza, who was a contest clue earlier this year because his restaurant, Frankie and Dino's.
Oh, Frankie and Dino's. This guy owns it, yeah.
Well, Carlo Vaccarezza is a trainer who also was Italian. He's a restaurateur. And that
Little
restaurant,
Mike, that was the horse.
That restaurant went out. It's no longer in Boca or Deerfield, but they have one in Lexington, Kentucky.
Nice.
But so Carlo is also a horse trainer, horse breeder, and restaurateur. So for the restaurant
such
angle,
a connection with the food world,
maybe Little Jewel is your hunch play number 2.
Go
check out the entries if you want at equibase.com, and you could find all the names to go along with the numbers 1 through 10, along with the. Might as well give the third clue now.
Here's the thing: like you're recommending a good thing. If you pick a bomb, you don't have to go through the hat draw.
It's not even, and so the third thing is not even a clue.
The bomb and the right restaurant, which I think everybody knows now.
And again, name of the restaurant, number between 1 and 10 for the 11th race tomorrow. MikeMayoEats@gmail.com by noon tomorrow. Send it to me, and
I almost blurted it out after the first clue.
Don't do it.
Okay.
You already did that once.
And the third clue isn't really a clue; it's just kind of a point of information. But again, I'll repeat the other ones. Always Christmas is the motto and theme of this famed restaurant, known worldwide for its kitschy permanent holiday displays and its selection of desserts, including the signature orange cake or orange crunch cake. The restaurant opened in 1979, and as far as we know, neither Lawrence Welk nor Don Ho
that was the one, man.
have anything to do with the restaurant. And number 3, not really a clue, but just a point of information. The restaurant is currently closed after sustaining major damage in last year's Hurricane Ian. It was devastating. But the restaurant is now set up kind of a satellite location. They're temporarily serving their famous pies and cakes from a location in Fort Myers next to a diner. It's a temporary location. And according to the restaurant's website, they are repairing the landmark Captiva Island site, but there is no estimated reopening date yet.
Great.
They said stay tuned to their social media channels for updates. So if you drive up to Captiva Island now, you ain't going to find this restaurant open. But if you go to Fort Myers and you go onto this restaurant's website, you will be able to find where they're selling some of the cakes.
Was the internal decor.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the full experience.
So I don't know if
going
they
there.
can replicate that
Yeah.
because that was like real old school, like you said.
Hey, and you mentioned Portnoy earlier and some pizza. Got to give a shout out, my friend Jim up Beats in Delray Beach.
Oh, yeah?
That I've been to his grand opening. I've
Passed
gone there
the
with
Portnoy
Dixie a
test?
couple times.
Oh yeah,
Portnoy
big
went out
time.
there yesterday
Oh, yeah?
and absolutely raved about it. But he gave it an 8.4. He
Wow.
said he called it spectacular, and he said this answers the question of whether you can find New Haven style quality pizza outside New Haven.
Yeah.
Now, I think you could do that at
Yeah,
Pizza
no,
he
Spot.
blew it
sure.
at the pizza spot.
Pizza Spot.
Yeah,
He came in unannounced. Wade didn't know who he was,
Yeah.
and he ordered also something that was sitting around, and it got a little soggy. And he didn't order the traditional New Haven pie, which
Yeah.
is kind of what I call it's kind of the plain pie with just tomato and a little sprinkle of grated Parmesan, not heavy with cheese. And when I get that at Wade's, it comes out crisp and perfect.
I don't even care about that. The flavors at Wade's place is
great.
unreal.
They do a great job.
But Beats, okay, get this. So they're only open for lunch Thursday through Sunday. Portnoy went up there on, I guess it must have been like a Tuesday or a Monday. They were not open for lunch. Portnoy didn't realize that. They ended up seeing he was there, and they opened for him.
Wow.
They baked him a pizza special.
Oh my God!
So they know
fix was
what
in.
he
Yeah.
likes.
And that's good for them, but
No, it's
that
great for them.
stinks
And
some other
they
people.
fixed him. It was a beautiful looking pie, and he loved it. He was gushing, gave it an 8.4. This is great news for Jim. So I'm glad for him.
You know what? It's good to see these people that are in the restaurant business
let's take a break.
getting the endorsements.
Let's take a break.
Let's take the second break.
Joe on
And
there.
then
Delaware
Joe, do a
Chicken
full
Farm
Oh, my
and
God, look at
Seafood
this guy.
Market,
He's serving
4191
himself
North State
now.
Road 7. Let's take the second break, and then we'll come back, and I'll talk more about some of our other great sponsors. And
If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. It's going to be kind of a early exit today. Lubie's got to take his wife to the airport, so we're going to start a little early, but we've got Joe Beja here.
Oh, yeah.
He's dressed like a tablecloth in an Italian restaurant,
Like
so
$1
it's
million bucks
Italian
here,
day, but I do like the jacket. It is very dapper. You call that a cranberry red, a Merlot? Berry.
Only
berry
certain
red?
people can wear that and look as
He
distinguished
could pull
as Joe
that
does.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if
You
I could pull
you
that
and
off.
I can't do that.
I got my
forget about
Gaia
that.
Vera, or whatever
Yeah,
you
no,
call
you
it,
look
Cuba
sharp today.
Vera
Yeah,
shirt.
I like it.
And I hope I don't get splattered. But what do we have today, Joe? And how are you?
This looks great.
I am great. Actually, this is from our Italian section of Ten Palms. You
I
know, it's
love
just
Italian.
some comfort Italian food, I guess you could say. We have a rigatoni alla vodka, we have a fettuccine alfredo, and then we have our meatball appetizer.
That
Looks
sounds
beautiful, man.
spectacular.
Lou, you better dig in because you're gonna get out of here.
You know, there's some people
Yeah.
in the world. Oh, don't cut the spaghetti. Oh my God, this is a sin.
I know.
You gotta
okay.
you twirl it and
You have
all
to
that.
get a
Oh,
few.
I'm yelling at Lubie. This is a foul paw. Oh, and he's scattered
now
cheese.
he's sending it
Oh,
to
it's getting
Let
ugly
him
here.
cut the stuff.
Hey, he's
Let him
rushed.
cut it.
He's
Yeah.
in a hurry.
There
No,
we
we
go.
can't
I'm gonna
cut
go
the
easy
pasta.
here. Yeah,
This
yeah.
is not Skyline chili. In Ohio, you can cut your spaghetti with the Skyline chili. He's not very good with the
This looks
twirl,
good.
Joe. Joe
There we go.
Beja is
There we
the
go.
director of
Switch.
food and beverage here. I'm gonna grab
Remember,
some
this
of
is
this.
food you're getting at the
this
track.
penne.
This is a long way from the
this
onion
looks
man.
great. He's got
at
the grated
Aqueduct. It really is.
Parmesan cheese. He's got some of the garlic toast points.
Hey,
He's
the
got
rest is
some
yours.
meatballs. It looks absolutely delicious.
Wow.
I'm one of those guys, like some people are like, you know, burgers and fries people. I'm an Italian food freak. I could live on pizza and pasta every day. How
Yeah.
about you, Joe?
That
Same.
is delicious, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely the same.
Wow.
Yeah. And to me, you know, I actually did eat some Italian food. I had pasta and that
Oh, you-
leftover
for
veal
breakfast,
chop
yeah, you
for
had a veal
breakfast
chop,
on
yeah.
the morning show with you folks.
Nice.
So what do we got going on? You had a good week last week with the
We did. The
Fountain
Fountain of Youth was
Yeah.
great. The tacos and tequila event sold out even at the door. So
Nice.
we had about 375 guests. So the next
Wow.
one that we do will be on Florida Derby Day, and that one we're going to just elevate a little bit. This Florida Derby is a nicer day, a higher end day, and we're going to be doing a wine pairing event, wine and champagne, up in the Flamingo Room, and chef's going to be doing like a pasta station and carving station and so forth, and then we'll work on our next concept. Probably for Belmont, because we are sold out up in the Flamingo Room for Preakness and
On the
Kentucky Derby.
Mhm.
we're sold out. We have some groups that have been with us for years, and they're returning back. So, but Belmont is open, and we're thinking of doing a taste of New York.
Nice. Like
You know?
dirty
Yeah.
water hot dogs or something a little bit more elevated, maybe?
A
Or,
little more elevated, a little maybe some pastrami sliders,
oh,
and
yeah.
you know, of course, a pizza station, but like a little Italy,
Yeah.
a Chinatown, a Korean town.
That
You know,
sounds
some
good.
great neighborhoods of New York City.
Maybe, you know, you got to throw maybe a little Greek in there because
Yeah.
Astoria, Queens, close to Belmont, has some great
Yeah.
Greek food and all that stuff. So that sounds like a good idea. I don't know what's going on here. Am I winning or
Here's
losing?
some yelling and screaming.
I bet some big long
I
shots
gotta
here in
They're
the
get,
great.
first
to
race.
get up.
So
I'm
we'll
gonna get
see.
beat.
Who won?
It
Who
looks
was
like the one was coming
the
on.
one? We don't want the one. All right. So there
Whatever
goes
this
the
guy's
first
saying,
race.
that's what's coming in.
That's it. I'll
No, he
look at the
lost.
results later. There's
Yeah.
so much activity. What a gorgeous day it is today, Joe. And
Beautiful.
you know, we did the contest clues before you got here, but it seems like, you know, when I say that it's a you know, known for their permanent Christmas decorations, and in keeping with the Captiva Island Steaks tomorrow, it's in Captiva Island. It's world famous. It's known for their desserts and their orange cake, orange crunch cake, and has nothing to do with Don Ho or Lawrence Welk. Do you know the answer to this week's restaurant?
I thought I did, but I do not.
You do not.
I feel like I have one word of it, obviously, with the last clue,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I can't tell you.
Okay,
what the
you
rest
You
of
go
it
to
is.
the
You've
West
never
Coast,
been there.
so, and
No,
everybody
I have
says
not.
you have
It's
to go
the-
there.
and Captiva Island is the Gulf Coast. This
Yep.
is just
Right.
Sanibel Island and Captiva Island. They both got completely wrecked by Hurricane Ian last
Yeah.
September. So this restaurant is actually currently closed, but they're serving their famous cakes and pies from a temporary location in Fort Myers, next to a storefront next to a diner there. If you go to their website, and we'll give it to you on Monday.
That
But
meatball's great, by the way.
yeah, so that's it. We're going to be gorging down on the Italian food. We're going to be playing the races all weekend long, and you've got two contest winners coming in this weekend.
Sunday, yes, we do.
So we're going to host them, and I've heard nothing but good feedback. I hope you're the same for you. So come on, you know, give the name of the restaurant, give the horse between 1 and 10 for tomorrow's 11th race. Send it to MikeMayoEats@gmail.com. We've got a busy week next week. Visit Lauderdale. We're going to do a edition next Tuesday with Neki Mohan in honor of Women's Month, Women's History Month, and it was International Women's Day this week. We're going to go to El Guanaco, is a restaurant in Oakland Park on Prospect Road. It is run by two women. One of them is Mexican. One of them is from El Salvador. So they've got Salvadoran pupusas, and they've got all kinds of Mexican good food, burritos. We're going to be there with Neki Mohan next Tuesday as part of our Everyone Under the Sun, Every Dish Under the Sun series with her and Visit Lauderdale. Go to visitlauderdale.com for all the latest events and information. Great time of year here. And of course, we'll be at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market later in the month on the 23rd. And that's where we're going to be talking about all the upcoming holidays, Easter, Passover, all the things you could get, fresh fish and seafood and lamb and chicken and poultry and brisket, all those things at Delaware Seafood Market, 4191 North State Road 7. And, of course, don't forget next week we'll be going to Shenanigans, too, in honor of St. Patrick's Day next Friday. I think we're going to be visiting Pat Utter on Wednesday. We're going to be previewing St. Patrick's Day. And bigger yet, for a sports bar, the NCAA tournament. It is March Madness time, and there's no better place to watch all the games on those big, bright HD TVs at Shenanigans in Dania Beach. We'll be there Wednesday. All right, that's going to do for today. We'll let Lubie go to the airport. Joe B., thanks as always for
it's great,
a
man.
terrific
Joe,
lunch.
Pleasure, my friend.
Pleasure.
I'll be splattering my shirt in a second. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Remember to enjoy every pasta, every meatball, and enjoy every sandwich.